Welcome everyone. This is Divine Dialogues, Intuitives Unveiled. I am Tracey Mango from Angels on the Prairie.
And I'm Rhonda Sean with Divine Guidance with Rhonda. And we're members of the Angel Empowerment Wellness Center. In our podcast, we're going to be delving into topics such as intuition, angelic connections, and the spiritual realm.
We're also going to talk about our own personal experiences to help you understand your own intuitive abilities. Thanks for joining us.
And let's begin.
Well, welcome to our next set of series of talking about the archangels. And we are going to talk about first Archangel Jophiel. Now, just so you know, for me and I think for most, Jophiel is steps forward as a strong female presence. You know, I find her very, I guess gentle is the word, but she is very powerful. And she's one that I consider is very compassionate, works with healing and acceptance. And I would call her my heart chakra. Like, she's definitely the love lady. And she's laughing because I called her the love lady. That's because she really is. She works with joy and love. So she likes to, and I use like is it a pendulum, I guess? She loves teaching about a balance of giving and receiving love. She's very big on that. So as much as you receive or give, it should be in balance. Like, we're very good about giving, but we stop ourselves from receiving. And I like to tell my clients a big thing is it's as simple as saying thank you. It doesn't have to be a big thing. It's just someone says, I'll do that for you. And you just have to say thank you. Okay? All right. I hope you understand that concept of it's easy, of just keeping the pendulum balanced of giving and receiving. Yeah.
I find too even though she deals a lot with relationships, I think her main, I want to say, power is relationship with self. And that's kind of going back to what Tracey was saying with giving in balance, because it's very often we give, but we don't receive. And a lot of that comes down to worthiness. So I kind of tell my clients too, you can give all you want. Does it bring you joy? Or a deeper question then is, why are you giving? Is it something that needs a hole that needs to get replaced or anything around that? Because sometimes what happens is if we give too much, we get resentful of people for always asking. But at the same time, you have to look internally. It's like, because we teach people how to treat us.
Isn't that the truth?
And then with that, it's just like, okay, do I want to give because I'm truly giving from a place of want, or do I feel obligated to give? And if you feel obligated to give, that's when you know that word no needs to come out.
It's a hard word for some people to say, especially
Yeah.
as a parent and offering for the school or, like volunteerism, for sure, for sure. So, yeah, she's a big one about. She also likes to talk about love in different forms. Like, we're raised to as abundance and prosperity is, when you talk about that's another form of love, and we shut down right away because it's the way we're taught about money, and betterment. So she's very good about teaching about learning to open that heart chakra to receive abundances and prosperity with love. So it's like I like to tell, instruct my clients, it's like stop limiting yourself and saying, okay, I'll be happy if I make 60,000 a year. So you've set yourself on a limit right there. And I say it's okay to ask for 250,000 a year because you're not limiting yourself and you're letting yourself for the chance to keep growing. So, and to do it without guilt is hard.
Yeah.
So that's one thing she really likes for the person like to learn that you can ask for more without guilt. So it stops from limiting yourself in your life path.
It also tells, it kind of goes to is asking for what you want. Like I've kind of said it, and it's a term that I read in a book from Jack Canfield, become an asshole. And that's what it is putting out your intentions to want you what you want and doing it in gratitude. Because I'll ask for parking spots, I'll ask for,
Safe trips home.
yeah, like it's everything. And asking for me was hard. And it was actually one of my life lessons is I had to start asking for help because I wasn't the one. I thought, oh, I could do everything on my own and I can do this and this and this. But at the end of the day, I'm like, my team put me in a situation where I had to ask for assistance.
And it's hard. Until you start realizing that it's okay that they, and when I say they, your guardian angels, your archangels, we call your team, wait for us to ask because they want to help us and because of free will. And I'm sure you'll hear this repetitively from us that they just wait for us to ask for their help and ask. I mean, I laugh too because people look at me like the clients will say, and I'll say, well, yes, you can ask for $1,000,000. Doesn't mean you're going to get that though, just so you know. But yes, always in gratitude.
Yeah. Well, another thing around with the asking though is then being open to seeing the signs. Because once you ask, you really kind of let universe be because our natural tendency is then how's it going to happen? We
Right?
start going into logic and yes, you have to do the work, but I say you need to take that inspired action as opposed to controlled action. And what I mean by inspired action is like in the previous podcast, right? They told me to go look in the fridge. And like in by all logic, why would I put my keys in the fridge? Like,
Right?
so but there were the keys or whatever. But and so that's the thing is like you're not going to get these kind of like big, huge, like claps of thunder or sounds, but it's just like those tiny whispers. It's like, oh, okay, this seems like a little bit out of the norm, but I'll go do this. And then
It's about
it's like,
trust and faith.
yeah,
Okay, the crystals that we use with Jophiel is ruby and zoisite, rose quartz, rainbow moonstone, and carnelian. Now, rhodonite. There it is. So, gotta bear with me. All right. So, our next one that we're going to talk about is Archangel Metatron.
I use him for math. I'm a math person and I teach a lot of students who do not like using math. And he will come up with some fun games that we learn for math games. He's a champion for children, especially They are what's called intensive support. So that might be autism, Down syndrome. It's all children, but he's really a champion for the ones that have some form of behavioral, physical, cognition issues.
Yeah, he sure is. I use them like, I mean, yes, we both use them for like big time with our clients. You know, when we were talking about when we were working with Jeremiah with, you know, children in their sleep, but we also call in Metatron for to help because he's like, and I'll tell you right away, like if they're having trouble sleeping, I'll give it right away. I'll say, okay, here's some rainbow fluoride because that's Metatron, and just place it by their bed to help them along with, so that brings both Metatron and Jeremiah together. And there again, when we have them working side by side, but yeah, but for me, a lot is all about clearing our auras. Like, you know, like we all have auras. And so I always like to call on Metatron to clear. That's one of my tools. Well, it's probably both of our tools for every day, like in the morning, at night, to calling in Metatron to clear our aura and set up a shield, because that's just what he does. And I think, I have to be honest, I think that's one of my biggest teaching tool for client is the shield, of clearing that aura and the shield.
And to be honest, when I first learned about shielding myself, I thought, oh, what a bunch of baloney or whatever. And I'm like, well, I'm going to test this out. And I tell clients this all the time. I said, I'm going to test this out because I personally didn't initially believe it until I saw it had happened. I was working with a challenging student who would constantly tell me to F off or whatever. And part of like the shielding is it helps you, it protects you from somebody that's wanting kind of to do harm or lower your spirits or whatever. So I was sitting in class just before whatever, and she would constantly tell me to F off. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna place this shield on. And what made me a believer was she literally said to me that she's like, I want to say something to you, but I just can't. And I'm like, oh, this actually works. Now, with the shield, it does break down over time. So if you're kind of feeling good and then all of a sudden you're starting to feel picking up other people's energy or sending different, you know, I don't want to say negative vibes, but lower vibrations to you, that you know to replace your shield.
If you just start feeling more like your gut is feeling more uncomfortable, then you know it's time.
Yeah. And also, if you place your shield on right away and you're still feeling lower vibrations, that means you're in a low vibration as well. So I always teach people then close your eyes, imagine yourself going to your happiest place to lift your vibration, and then place your shield on.
Well, it's kind of funny as we're talking an example. I had actually it was a friend. We were at a Christmas craft show, and I'm walking and people are walking around me. But she's bumping into people. She's getting miserable because it's so busy. And she says, "What's going on?" And I says, "What do you mean?" She says, "Well, I'm following you behind you because everybody's going around you. Nobody's touching you and I'm getting hit." And I asked her, "Okay, do you trust me?" And she says, "Well, yes." So I touched her and I put the shield on for her because it was it was too busy to do a teaching moment, but I just put the shield, asked for the shield for her, and she came to me after and she says, "Oh my God, it's a different world." She says, "Thank you, and I need to know how to do that." Because it's literally like the crowd's part for you, because the other person's aura now recognizes yours and they will go around. So it's for more than just like, I mean, yes, like it's there. I'll ask for a stronger one when I go to funerals, like certain things, because if you are a little bit of an empath, like it's hard, and so for that, there's specific one, like specific reasonings why you'd like to make it a little stronger, and a funeral is one.
No.
But yeah, but yeah, he's very good of helping us about that.
And one of the things that I love working with him, because I work with a lot of deadlines, is he helps organize your time. So sometimes if I'm on a deadline and I'm getting in a little bit of a time crunch, I'll ask Archangel Metatron to slow down time. And one time, now this had to do with a deadline, but for some reason, I slept in, and which I rarely do, but I slept in and it was like 10 to 8. So I'm going, I still needed to have a shower. I still needed to get everything. So I asked Archangel Metatron to slow down time for me. So I was able to have a shower. I was able to get in and out. And I was 5 minutes of work early. So, but he created situations. Not only did he like slow down time, but I hit every red light. I was able to get the parking spot out, like, so everything was in alignment. So, and then when I kind of want the day to go a little bit faster, I'm like, can you please speed up time? Like, and I tried that this morning and it worked.
That's not cool. It's funny what we ask them for. It is, because I mean, just have to ask. I also use him to help us with our, to help with ability, like our abilities. Everybody has special. And, I know people say we're gifted, but I like to say we all can do this. That's why teaching is one of my passions, because we all can do this. So, but he definitely likes to work with us to using our intuition with confidence. So, yeah, our crystals, like I had mentioned before, rainbow fluoride, hematite, and I did say is very good for grounding, and rose quartz. Do you have any, like he's like I say, big for us. He's part of, like he's for sure part of my team that he's called upon. Oh, and stands, he stands like really strong, but it's hard to explain because he's very big and powerful, but then he shows me himself as when he's with the child, he's like a total different energy of compassion and caring for the child.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Rhonda, I know he's another Archangel Michael. We talked about him already as our one of our three powerhouses, but let's just touch on him again to, just in case somebody missed that podcast.
Well, Michael, oh, so he's kind of the head boss. Yeah, he's just the head boss. He's the one that,
Hi everyone. We're gonna now Archangel Michael is the next one we're gonna talk about. I know we've already talked about him at the power of three, the powerhouses, but I think we're gonna just talk about him a little more. So go ahead, Rhonda. What do you think about? What do
so
you use Michael for?
I, Archangel Michael to me, like he's the boss of boss. Like he's probably, if you're just especially learning, he's the probably the easiest one to connect with because he's just so powerful and I kind of want to say loud. I feel like sometimes if you're again if you're like really paying attention is though when you hear words, it's him. He assists with so much. So I always anytime I like leave the house, go into my car, even when I sleep, I ask for protection and I place a like white light, like almost like a, we were talking about Archangel Metatron with shielding, but I've also put like a shield of protection around everything.
Mm, okay. He's the, yeah, to me, he's, yeah, like stands at the right hand of God. Like he's, if that's your belief system, but I mean, he's right beside the man to, and like the messenger of God for sure. Yeah, yeah.
And then he also assists, like if you're kind of like contemplating, like are you in the right career? Do you kind of need some finances or not finance? Well, finances will help, but it's like I need a job. Like if you're again, he's kind of steers you into like what like he's kind of like your joy and your purpose. It's like career direction, life purpose. He kind of leads you to where you want to go, like always for your best, highest good.
You know, I know, Ron, we were talking about the protection that he does, and it's kind of interesting how for when we first, well, started when we bought all these acreage, and it was a few years after I started doing this work, and we have like 120 acres, and said, Michael, I know you can do protection, and I says, but can you do protection for 120 acres? He said, absolutely, my child. And that I asked once for. I've said, Michael, can you surround our land, keep it safe and protected? And he controls who comes and out of our land and on our yard. So I know if somebody comes in, they're safe, I'm safe. So yeah, it's like you can ask him for something that size and he will
Yeah.
help.
Yeah.
Also, use him, and I really, it's funny how I really dislike the word use, but that started coming up when I was told that I would be teaching about the auric spirit, and they said how you're going to use Mother Earth for healing. And I said, well, I'm sorry, but I'm not sure I really like that word of use. And they said, no, that's really what it's about. And so they said, get over the word. So apparently I'm using it way more, but anyways, yes, I use Archangel Michael for something that we call cutting cords. And that's another big part of our tools for daily life. Right, Rhonda? Like
Yeah.
it's a
And it's kind of like to let go of fear, like trust that everything's going to work out and letting go of fear. You know, it helps you to be more in the present. And I use him for gratitude because it's hard to be, well, you can't be in fear and have gratitude at the same time. So it's like if I get fearful of something, I'm going, okay, what is gratitude around it?
it's like fear, worry, like he helps with the stop worry.
Yeah.
But the cord cutting, for me, I don't know if it's for you, Rhonda, but for me, it's something I do every night when I go to bed, is cut cords at night, and I find between putting up the shield with Metatron and cutting cords with Michael, I sleep way better.
Yeah.
And when I say a cord, is like we're all energy connected, so if you had a fight with somebody, with your partner, you know, you start feeding off each other for that anger. And if you, now, I cut cords, but some people find that very difficult to do. They just change them up, you know, and you ask for that, just to ask Michael to change up that cord. But then we always send healing. And just so you know, if that person keeps popping in your head, you had stopped yourself from being very forgiving. You're still very angry. So until you're ready to forgive, then you'll be able to cut that cord.
So, but there's a clarification around that though too. Cutting cords doesn't mean cutting a person out of your life either. It means it's just so that it's like we talked about balance and receiving of energy. So sometimes if somebody's in a low energy, they start passing it on to you, but also you might be in such a high vibration that, you're just so pumped or excited that you have a hard time calming down and unwinding as well. So you might be around people that are just like so amped up. That's like, I need to cut this cord so I can get some rest. And that's where that healing place also takes in. So that's how come cut and exchange might come up, because some people assume when they hear cut is they're cutting people out of their lives. And that's not the case at all. It's just shutting down your system to stop taking in their energy.
Yeah, remember, it's energy. It's an invisible energy cord. Yeah, and that's why we teach about that. So you understand the differences of what you're really doing, and that's why we love to teach.
Well,
Okay, I think we're good with those 3 archangels for the day.
yep. Is there any special crystals?
Oh, absolutely. Let's just tell them that. Amethyst, hematite, charoite, and kyanite.
I'm surprised selenite's not in there.
Is it's a clearing. And like we always like to tell people, it's what you're connected to. And if you find that selenite is helpful for you for clearing, then absolutely that could be another crystal for Michael.
Yeah, because I know for myself, I use selenite. I'll place selenite in kind of my doorways. So when people come through and leave, they're getting clearing, but it's also, I use it for protection as well.
Yeah, I hear ya. I agree. All right, well, thanks for joining us for this session. And our next one, we will talk about Nathaniel, Raguel, and Raphael. Bye for now.
Bye. Thank you for listening to Divine Dialogues, Intuitives Unveiled. If you would like to work with Tracey and Rhonda, our information is posted in the show notes.
Now, our new episodes are going to fall on Tuesdays. So if you're interested in receiving a free meditation on connecting to your guardian angels, click that link below to subscribe to the Angel Empowerment Wellness Center newsletter. Thanks for joining us.
Take care, everybody.